Tuesday, August 11th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host today, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Joe Leal, working his way behind the boards, keeping everything nice and smooth. And we got a great show for you today. Cannot wait to break it all down. Look at the guests we have on today. Absolutely loaded cast and crew to come through and give you guys all the little nuggets you need for everything. Batting leadoff, we got Drew Dinsick coming on. We're going to talk some NFL action. I cannot wait to break this all down. We're going to take a look more so at like season-long stuff, talk through some divisions, talk through some I want to talk to him a little bit about MVP market, make miss playoffs, just things of that nature. He's also done, I believe the deep dive has gone through 17 teams so far in the NFL. I want to know his biggest takeaway of the 17 teams he's covered. One thing that like makes him go, wow, what the heck is going on with these teams once he's finally talked through them all. So we'll get his insight there. After that, we got Kirk Evans coming on to talk some WNBA news. Has there been any news around the WNBA? I don't know. I've been off Twitter. Has there been any controversies recently? I feel like it's like those the WNBA has become those like crash test dummy commercials where there's like 0 days without incident. You put up one and then instantly have to replace it and put the zero back up on there. And then finally, after that, we got Drunken Goon coming on to talk through some MLS action, some Leagues Cup action, some Champions League action, Champions League qualifiers today. And yeah, that's it. And that's how we're going to get into today's show. Before we get into things, though, just want to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel's brought to you, the Hammer Daily is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, the big hits are even bigger with Dinger Tuesdays. On FanDuel, customers choose their own rewards every Tuesday to use on home run bets. How will you play your game? Option 1 is the bet reset. Use this on your wager and you'll get refunded in bonus bets if your bet loses. Option 2, a 50% profit boost. Make your bet active. Activate that profit boost. And if it hits, that's extra winnings at no extra cost. Make your choice and the reward will be ready for you on your next home run bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/4products to choose your own reward for home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. Play ball with the home for home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Arctic, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including any bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-750-50. Massachusetts, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-877-770-7867 in Louisiana. All right. Before we get into today's show here quickly, avoid as Corby would say, avoid the spinny shit if you're betting home run bettors. Avoid the pitchers with some spinny shits. We're seeing a lot more of that here today. If you want some home run bets, Junior Caminero at plus 230 at FanDuel is great. Munetaka Morikama at plus 350 is also good. Ronald Acuna Jr. is plus 450 is also pretty good. These are like the best I could pull up right now quickly in an instant. I would do a little bit more research on that though. But yeah, this is what I could pull up quickly here. Caminero plus 230, Murakami plus 350, and Acuna at plus 450. All right. Let's get into today's show. Let's bring on our first guest here. You know him as the one half of the Deep Dive podcast. He is an NFL, NBA, and tennis handicapper. Oh my goodness. Betting analyst for NBC Sports Bet. And also the number one bottom-up expert on wine and gambling Twitter. When are we going to give him his sommelier license? I don't know, but hopefully he'll get it soon. Drew Dinsick, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well, man. Yeah, sommelier license. Huh?
Is that a thing? I don't even. I just kind of made that up on the spot.
Yeah, have you never seen SOM? SOMM?
No.
A little documentary about the three guys who are all trying to get their level tier 3 classification, and they're studying for the exam. You got to pass 3 different categories. One is basically just general knowledge, like a kind of like trivial quiz. One is a service test, and then there's your actual tasting, which everybody is like pouring sweat over. You got to name old world, new world, region, grape varietal, and then just everything you're getting from the nose and the palate, and they grade you on it all, and if you do well enough, then you get your tier 1 sommelier license or whatever the classification is. I forget, but it's fun. It's a fun watch.
All right. Well, you let us know when you get it because I have a feeling it's going to be around the corner for you, even though you might not have the time to do it right now.
I think you only want one if you're going to try to make money off of it.
Fair. That's all right.
It's a passion. It's a passion project, you know?
All right. I love it. I love the passion project for that there. My new passion is cold brew coffee, and I think I drank too much today because I can barely keep my words together. I might have gone like a little strong with the balancing.
You're making your own, or are you trying all of the available products?
I just make my own in like a French press. It's like it's pretty easy. It doesn't really take much time. Like it doesn't take much time to actually do. It's the waiting is like just leaving it out overnight in the fridge, and that's the hard part. Anyways, a lot of people in the chat are mentioning how great your seminar was on tennis at Bet Bash.
Nice.
Give me some Bet Bash highlights for you.
So I haven't been in 2 years. I didn't go last year. 2 years ago, I felt like I didn't really connect a ton with the crowd of people who were there. I mean, outside of the people I knew from the gambling space, like, you know, Rob and others, you know, but Rufus, like, you know, and Spanky, obviously, you know, it's good to connect with those guys, but there felt like there were a lot of people there that were kind of like grinding paper heads and, you know, had like an angle and really trying to sell you on something. And then this year it was a very different vibe. It was younger. It skewed younger, I thought. It skewed, everybody was like very dialed into prediction markets and, you know, how do I, you know, it's kind of like, had like an iBanking mindset, you know, fresh out of college, like new trader, you know, kind of mindset for a lot of the folks who were there. And which is why I thought that, you know, a little bit surprised at the, you know, kind of like really seriously engaged attendance at the tennis seminar, right? Like, there wasn't a lot of people that were just there to waste time and shoot the shit. They were like really like engaged and asking serious questions. And that was pretty exciting and cool. And I think they probably saw what I saw, which was Wimbledon. There was, you know, $100 million matched in, you know, a quarterfinal match. And it's just like, if that's where we're at, like, you know, you gotta be paying attention to this sort of stuff. So, yeah, pretty excited with the kind of genuine enthusiasm for tennis betting that was present at the event. Pretty excited that it just felt like there was a lot of younger people who were kind of interested in betting and being a better player. And it's like, I kind of had lost hope that we were ever going to get that out of the, you know, this new legal gambling space. Like I thought a lot of those guys kind of got churned out. Just by the way that, you know, that things went for a handful of years there. But no, here we are. We got kind of young, sharp, engaged people all over. And that's exciting.
Yeah, us like lazy. I don't know what classification. I'm like a millennial. I don't know, Gen Z. Like we don't want to churn accounts. We don't have to get like 7 different. Like that's too much work. Give me a PM. Like just like open it up. You know, like so that's like I can see how maybe there's like at Bet Bash the audience that's there could skew more towards those sorts of people. It's pretty funny, and yeah, it's good to see because I don't know. I wish I went this year, but maybe next year. Hopefully, you'll stay young. Next year, tennis seminar was great. Everyone in the chat is mentioning how good it was. Amber's mentioning it. Jimmy's mentioning it. Matt's mentioning it as well. We'll talk tennis in a bit because we got some National Bank Open stuff I want to talk about. Before that, I want to talk to you about some NFL because on the Deep Dive podcast, you guys have gone through 17 teams, I believe. I'm not really good at counting. Past like 10, it's a little tough for me, but it looks like 17. Give me like your biggest takeaways from the teams you've talked about so far, because like I find when you talk through a team, you sort of things pop up that you don't really consider. So you and Andy talking through teams of those 17, which was like the biggest shock for you?
Yeah, you've keyed on a huge point already, which is that sitting down and kind of talking through your ratings with someone who's doing a similar process but independently, that is my process. Like until you get to the point where you've said it all out loud and you either hear yourself say something or you have your friend say that was stupid, you don't really kind of challenge any of your priors. But yeah, I mean, so far as we've kind of gone through, we're past the halfway point. East, north are all in the books. Pretty excited about how competitive the NFC North is going to be. I think all 4 of those teams have a realistic shot, and it just comes down to who stays healthy and, obviously a little bit of schedule imbalance. But, the AFC North is probably the division I'm the most excited about and the most surprised by when I kind of dug into some of the, some of the kind of key factors. For the Bengals, I was pretty surprised as I dug in at how average their defense was over the last half of the season when they were up against relatively challenging quarterback play. Like they played the Ravens twice, Bills, Pats, all in the second half of the season. And if you kind of stack up some of their efficiency ratings, like they were pretty middling, not all that different than like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so, I think that was kind of interesting to see and interrogate a little bit because I think pretty much the entire market is coming in with the Bengals power rated as, one of the best offenses in the NFL and one of the worst defenses. I would say there are probably people out there that have them power rated as like a bottom 3 defense. But certainly it seems like whatever Al Golden was doing over the first half of the season last year, which was clearly not working, he remedied over the second half of the season. And I think that has to be taken with a little bit of, kind of seriousness, and that he will take another step forward with the Bengals defense. You get kind of more fuel to that fire as you read and hear about what's going on at camp with Dexter Lawrence. It seemed like Dexter Lawrence was in a little bit of a tough spot last year in terms of dealing with injuries right off the bat. So far every clip that I see and everybody that I know that's been to Bengals camp is basically like, they have a monster on that team and he is absolutely wrecking games. And you can take that 2 ways. One could be, do we have a problem with the Bengals offensive line? Maybe. But the other side of the coin is, if you're anchored with, all pro defensive tackle play, a guy who's getting consistent interior pass rush for you, who's a good 2-way player, by the way. There's certainly a world where Trey Hendrickson was, kind of surprised when I dug into this. Like you have this general feeling that Trey Hendrickson was like an elite player the last couple of years. And then you look at some of his run stop grades and it was like pretty obvious he was just going for sacks and was not trying to play run defense at all, which is probably a reason that he's, no longer a Bengal. And so, yeah, I feel like you can point to a number of kind of aspects with the roster development and some of the decisions that were made, and kind of squint and see league average defenses, as potentially the ceiling for the Bengals. And if that is the case, and their offense is as expected, kind of lands in the top 10 just based on the quality of quarterback play from Burrow and the elite weapons that he has to pass to, like all of a sudden, like this Bengals team is probably a clear and obvious bet on in some way. I think right now, at least, I kind of need to see the offensive line in action against some good pass rushes. They're going to get one week 1 against the Bucs, whose pass rush is turning out to be much better than expected, as they have a bunch of young players kind of popping. But yeah, if the Bengals O-line plays well, I think that does unlock a ceiling for Cincinnati. In that same breath, though, like I'm excited about Jesse Minter in Baltimore. I think he's picking up a bunch of pieces that he's got a couple of absolutely elite difference makers on that unit, specifically Kyle Hamilton, and if Roquan Smith, I was. Again, like in the back of my head, I kind of have the idea of he's a defense upon himself. He's such a difference maker. But last year he was really, really, really poor. And I don't know what was going on. I kind of am ready to ascribe it to injury and assume that he's going to bounce back this year. But if he does combine that with Jesse Minter, who coordinated the absolute living daylights out of the Chargers, got more out of the sum of the parts for 2 years in a row there. You could absolutely see them take a leap into a top 5 defensive rating. And then, it's kind of taking me down the path of 1 seed in the AFC is going to be decided between Baltimore and Cincy.
I love that look. I'm really, really high on the Ravens coaching staff as well. They just remind me so much of like what Seattle did, not in their first year, but in their second year under McDonald. Like, I feel like it was kind of a learning curve with Ryan Grubb. Didn't run the offense the way like they wanted to. Ended up fixing it by getting a good offensive coordinator. Who knows what Declan Doyle can be for the Ravens, but If he's like, listen, this is the new tree, the Ben Johnson disciples. If they're legit, if they're good, this is a scary team with the Ravens. And I find it funny that you said the Bengals. Like, it's like you mentioned their defense being average, and some people would think about like, oh, that's not very good. But like for the Bengals, that's like, no, that's great. Like average is like incredible for the Bengals. It's like that's what we've been asking for years for Joe Burrow. As long as he stays healthy and his defense can be somewhat average, like they have a real shot there. I love those two looks.
Over the first half of the season last year, they made every opposing team look like the 2007 Patriots in terms of efficiency stats. It was that bad. And to turn it around without any kind of key obvious player acquisitions is kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, and maybe it was like the Logan Wilson trade away, or maybe like a linebacker. I have no idea.
What was he doing? What was he up to? What was going on there?
Just grasping at straws at this point, and maybe like you mentioned, Dexter Lawrence can just lift everyone up on the defensive line there, and things could be trending up for this Bengals team. Next thing I want to talk about here, I know I said I want to stick to like team level stuff, but I just want to talk about the MVP market because I feel like we haven't really talked about it because I feel like it gets talked about so much, but then now it's at the point where we haven't talked about it enough. It's like kind of that weird little in between. I feel like this year is like really open compared to past years. Like I'm seeing some like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson at the top of the board here. Is there any names that are sticking out to you that you feel are interesting to click at MVP? Also talk me through like the archetype of player that you like to bet on to win MVP in the offseason.
Yeah, it's to me at least, the short list is usually around 10 or 12. I think it is a little bit bigger this year, but that's just kind of because the kind of incoming class of quarterbacks is good enough that you can kind of say, well, they have to be considered. Drake May obviously is the one that leads that list, but I think you have a tough call about what do you put Caleb Williams in the discussion this year? Do you put Bo Nix in the discussion this year? Like, I don't think either of them will win, but I do think you have to kind of make a tough call on whether or not they're on the short list of reasonable candidates. I'm only considering quarterbacks. I'm only considering quarterbacks on teams that are likely to finish in the either finish clearly as the number one EPA generating team or, a top 2 seed in their conference. I know Stafford, of course, won with the Rams last year being a wild card team, but, I think the perception was pretty clear that there was a top 2 in the NFC and the Rams were part of that. So I think, you need to be kind of perceived as a top 2 team. And if you can put together a relatively, at least it looks good statistically if you're not throwing interceptions. And that is usually a tiebreaker that people will, kind of lean on because it's so clear and obvious when a quarterback throws an interception that it's detrimental to winning a game, and he gets wears all of the blame for that. So, it's a shortish list. I definitely am going to be avoiding guys who are in new systems this year. I think there's just, if things work out on day one for a system in the NFL, a lot of times that's temporary. There's tons of examples I could kind of give you of, man, this offensive coordinator took over this system. They were lighting the league on fire for 2 weeks. And then it was like, well, that was all the tricks in his bag. Right. And so, I think if you're going to kind of catch fire with a brand new system quarterback combination, I don't think you have to have a pre-flop bet on that. You can wait until you get a little bit more signal there. And so, yeah, it's a relatively short list for me. Josh Allen's on the top of the list. Lamar Jackson's at the top of the list. Burrow is at the top of the list. I think those 3 are on a tier upon themselves because if any of those 3 get a top seed in the AFC, they get the top seed in the AFC. If any of those 3 are the 1 seed, like it's going to be a really, really tough case to, give it to anyone else, I think, just because perception and anchoring is so high that these are the best quarterbacks in sport. And so I kind of would draw a line there. And between those 3, Lamar Jackson being the longest price at $872, is kind of draws your attention. The next tier of guys would include guys like Drake May and Matthew Stafford, who, of course, were your 1A, 1B last year.
Mhm.
I think Prescott's in that conversation. I think there's a ton of upside potential with this Cowboys team that I want to have some exposure to. I think Jordan Love is in this conversation just because of how, the quality of play we've seen from him and his EPA per play just consistently going up, and, the relationship he has with Matt LaFleur. That's going to be a good offense pretty much no matter what. And then Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert are in that tier as well. I would draw a line there, and then I would have a third tier of Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, and I suppose Bo Nix and Jared Goff, even though I'm not really seriously considering either of them. So that's about where it ends for me. Baker Mayfield's on the outs. Jaden Daniels is on the outs. CJ Stroud is on the outs. I'm kind of surprised that as many people as there are out there are really, really drinking the Houston Texans Kool-Aid. Good luck to them. But I'm not going to be part of it.
I always see if their offensive line can be better, if like they're like one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Like, I don't know how what about this offensive line that has changed from this year to last year that you're like, okay, this team can go from being the bottom 5 offensive line in the league to 15th in the league. It's I just don't see that happening with them.
Yeah, we totally agree.
Yeah, and that's how he is successful, right? That's how CJ Stroud can be successful. 50-1 though, it's a pretty long number there. All right, so yeah, are there any numbers that you would click here though?
Lamar at 872 is worth the play. That's about it though. Yeah, everybody else I think is pretty fairly priced. MVP, I think the best bet to make for MVP this year is really going to come to, and this actually is probably for Super Bowl as well. I'm sure you've seen the sequencing for the Rams, but the Rams are the number 1 power rated team in the NFL. I don't think anyone making numbers sincerely wouldn't have the Rams number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rams sequence, they play, their two most important games on their calendar are, week 16 and week 18 against the Seahawks. So it's kind of, there's kind of very little, I think, time pressure to make a bet on or against the Rams until you get later in the season. And that number 1, Matthew Stafford, is going to be playing those games. Mm-hmm. That number 2, Puka Nacua, is not going to have gone, AWOL on the team. And that, number 3, the gap to make up and get the 1 seed and not have to go into as the wild card. Because I would expect that the Rams have a gap to make up on the Seahawks, just the way that their schedules are sequenced in the first half of the season. So, it's the same kind of thought process with that and with MVP, in my opinion. I think the matchups are back weighted in this season in terms of what will ultimately be the tiebreakers. So I'm not dying to fill up my book pre-flop.
All right, yeah, we'll hold off a bit for NFL pre-flop. I have you here for just a couple more minutes. Quickly, give me some tennis stuff for the National Bank Open. Just talk me through it quick, both men's and women's. Yeah,
the men's is a lot of questionable players. Someone's got to win.
Yeah.
I think the winner probably comes out of the Hodar Feast match today. That's going to be a great one. I played over 22.5 there. I think that goes 3 sets. I think over 2.5 sets is also a fair play. Whoever emerges as your victor, I think is going to be the short shot to win in Montreal. And then on the women's side, this is a tough one. The way that the surface conditions are playing in Toronto, really, really, really favoring the strong return game. That's, obviously one of our 2 semifinals is the 2 elite returners in Svitolina versus Iga. On the bottom half, Goff almost surely comes through Bencic today, and then we'll play the better of Rybakina Osaka. Rybakina Osaka is as 50-50 a match as I've seen in months in tennis. That is really, really close. Osaka is the better, probably the more informed player, but, Rybakina is she's a heat index kind of specialist. When she gets hot, it's tough to find a way through. So that one's going to be close. I lean Osaka. I think it's going to be Osaka Iga in the final, and I lean Iga. Both of the semifinals are going to absolutely kill. you could convince me it goes Goff or Rybakina or Osaka or Iga. Even Svitolina has a realistic chance because of how well she's returning the ball right now. So really, really fun final couple of matches in Toronto.
Open on the women's side, down to maybe one match on the men's side between Hodar and Arthur Feast. Drew, appreciate you joining the show. Any final thoughts before you head out?
No, enjoy the rest of your prep for NFL season. Preseason games in seriousness this week. This is a great time of year.
All right, we're back into the swing of things. Drew, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Best of luck.
Great stuff there from Drew. As always, quickly, that was the over 23.5 in Hodar versus Arthur Feast, plus 106 available over on FanDuel. All right. Let's get into the rest of the show here. I prepared so much stuff for Drew, but I always forget that I always go long with Drew, and every question I ask, we always go back and forth on 20 different things. So, anyways, whatever. We'll get to it next time he's around. I also got to get his opinion on some Greek wines. I'm heading to Greece soon, so got to get his take on some good wines there. Before we bring on our next guest, just quickly wanted to remind you guys that we have a Discord. And I don't know if you guys have been in the Discord, but if you haven't, you're missing out. There's over 2,000 members in the Discord. We've grown it quite a bit in the last year. If you're watching and listening to the show right now, your people are in the Discord. We love to talk about the games, share our bets, sweat some games together. Plus, we'll have some exclusive bets in there from our biggest creators, and you really want to be in there for the upcoming football season. Head over to discord.gg/hammer to join the show to join the conversation right now. Discord.gg/hammer, or scan the QR code on screen. All right. Let's get into our next guest here. Our favorite WNBA bettor who comes on this show, a very, very smart man from what I hear from people at Bet Bash. Good friend of the show, Kirk Evans. How's it going? Oh.
That was the nicest intro you've ever had for me.
Yeah, well, you're sharp. You're a smart guy, and I want to give you credit of all the people. I had boots on the ground. I had my little my spiders out at Bet Bash. Varys from
Varys, but also birds, not spiders.
I thought it was spiders, but anyways, whatever. It's because it's an interweaving web of.
No,
it's
definitely birds.
SPY-ders. Anyways, it works. No. All right. First of all, how was Bet Bash? Heard you.
I also don't think that would classify as a pun either.
Wait, hold on. No, that is fully a pun. Spiders. They're like little spies for me, and they. Anyways.
Sure.
Okay. Talk to me about Bet Bash. How was it? How many people came up to you being like, "Wow, I didn't realize you were this tall."
Actually, zero.
No way. Awesome. I don't believe that one bit.
I swear to God.
Okay.
Bet Bash was awesome, honestly. Bet Bash is really fun. It was a good time. Met a lot of people who have been online friends with for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was great.
All right. Any other stuff you want to share about Bet Bash? Any seminars you went to that you liked? Anything that was stuck out to you, or just you want to just get into the WNBA? I mean, you were there when the stuff in the WNBA that we're going to talk about happened. Any conversations you had? Anything else to pull out here?
No. I love craps. Great game. Best game in the casino by far. Whenever I go to Vegas with any substantial crew, I try pushing craps as much as possible, and it very much caught this time, and it is by far the best table game. You should never play any other table game.
It's not even close. Even if you have your friends who just want to be neutral EV and be I don't want to be you can just play the pass line and you're good to go. Play the pass line, have some fun.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, I thought you were saying it's not even close. It's not even close to the best game, but you're saying it's not it's by far the best game.
Well, it's electric, and even if you have the friends who are. Hey, listen, gamble responsibly, do whatever you want. But if you want to just bet neutral EV, or you're not going to find anything plus EV in a casino, very, very hard to find unless you're going to grind stuff. But
yeah, you can. Agreed. You can play it mega nitty. You can even go in with a bunch of people and it's still really fun. Especially if friends don't know how to play, you could just pool your money and then you're actually playing really small stakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really fun.
something about throwing dice and just seeing numbers. It's just the
yeah, exactly. Like you feel like you're involved. Everyone's mostly cheering together.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
All right, let's get into today's show here. You wanted to just talk strictly WNBA today. Nothing really else to talk about outside of that, really. So let's just break it down for this Hammer Daily edition of Circle Kirk. You're no longer on Circle Back, and we had a ton of conversation around the WNBA on Circle Back. A lot has happened over the past couple of days, and I'm sure the Russian bot farms are out in full force. But I mean, where do you even want to start here? Like, how do we even start with this?
Want to give me? I didn't watch Circle Back. Want to give me a TLDR on everyone's opinions?
I can't really say. I don't know. I everyone was saying that a lot of people were saying Jacob was too lenient about things. Jacob was too too far right, too far left. Everyone is all over the place with how they interpret things. I thought everything was pretty good and neutral. But like there's like we haven't talked since like the Ennis Cantor stuff, since the Sophie Cunningham stuff, and then there was the Carrington stuff and the Clark what's it called? The Clark technical. Like where do you want to start with this? Talk me through it. I want your opinion on all this stuff because like you usually share it on Circle Back, but you're not on Circle Back anymore. So now's your opportunity to share your opinions on this stuff.
For sure. So like, I think the league's honestly just in a really tough spot here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just a bit like, I would say, unlucky. I know people will very much disagree with that characterization, but like it kind of wasn't a problem. Like everyone's like, oh, like the league needs to define their roles. They need to do this. And like, yeah, sure. Maybe they should have, but like, it wasn't like this is like an imminent issue that actually was like, oh shit. Like there's a, 6'7" player who was like a man who is now transitioned, who is looking to play. Oh shit, we need to say that. Like all the impetus for this whole thing was just Sophie Cunningham saying that quote. And then I would say a lot of bad actors have, like Cantor and Royce White have just taken advantage of it because like they want attention, they want to get clicks. And then it's like, if the league now comes out with a rule changing it, it's kind of like Royce White and Cantor won and they got pressured into it and it kind of looks bad. And there's a significant contingent of WNBA fans who would be very unhappy with that. But if they don't, then there's going to just be a lot of talk about it, a lot of noise about it. I think if I was advising the league, I would just say, honestly, just ignore this. Like, completely ignore it. It doesn't actually matter. Nothing is actually going to be effective because it doesn't really matter. And in the offseason, just add in some clarifying rules as to, like, what should be allowed that, like, I think some other leagues do have.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of pretend like it was not relevant to this. Give it a zero fanfare, put it in the rule books with trying to keep it as quiet as possible, do it on like a Sunday football at 1 p.m. And that's how I would go about it. And that's how I would advise the league if I was in that position.
All right. That makes perfect sense. And I think like it's pretty cut and dry. And I think there's just like bad actors trying to make a bigger deal out of it than it actually is. Like, I don't think people are like advocating for like biological men to be playing with biological women. I just don't think that's a thing.
Yeah, like I think there are a few fringe voices, even in the like. Honestly, when Sophie made those comments, I was genuinely stunned because I thought that people within the WNBA were going to be really mad about that because the W honestly does like lean as far left as like any sports league, obviously, other than maybe like PWHL, whatever. But like one thing that's really frustrating me about this situation is like people are allowed to disagree. Like I wrote on Twitter that Sophie Cunningham received zero pushback. And people were like, what do you mean? Like two players came out and said that they would be willing to play against a trans player. A coach wore a shirt in support of trans. Like that's not pushback. Like as much as we might disagree that that's the case, like there are many things that I think are completely insane within society that people disagree with me on. Like people are allowed to disagree. That is fine. You're allowed to hold an opinion that I can think is totally insane. That's like the bedrock of our society. So the idea that like Sophie Cunningham, like, to me, receiving pushback is if people came out and said, Sophie should be punished for saying this, or even just like specifically naming Sophie. If a player came out and said like Sophie was bigoted, or there's no place in the league for something like Sophie did, the league should take some action. If the league came out with language against Sophie, okay, I would describe that as pushback. Like, imagine if people came out and said an opinion we disagreed with, and Sophie came out and disagreed, and then people like were killing Sophie. Like, we're allowed to say our opinions. Our opinions are allowed to differ. That is like, I just don't understand why people can't get that through their head. Gabby Williams said she'd be totally willing to play against a trans player. Okay, that I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go about it, but like, she's allowed to have that opinion. Like, she lives in the United States. We live in the Western world. You're allowed to say what you think. Like, I just don't really understand why people can't grasp, like, okay, I disagree with that opinion. I would vehemently disagree if the league went in that direction, but she's allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fair level-headed take. It's so boring when you have these level-headed takes. Like, we want some like fireworks here. But yeah, no, I think that's a very fair level-headed take there. And I think the chat agrees with you. Like, you're not saying pushback in this. Like, disagreement is not pushback. Those are like two different things. Like, you can have a differing opinion with someone, but that doesn't mean you're like, fight. Yeah, there's levels.
Yeah, exactly. Like Reeves wore a shirt that one just said like, trans kids belong, or something like that. Like, completely benign statement. Like, and then she had a conversation with Sophie that Sophie afterwards said was super productive, and they both were very chummy about it. Gabby Williams, by my understanding, did not mention Sophie by name, didn't even like come out and outwardly like disagree with her. She just said her opinion. Like, well, I don't understand what people think should happen here. So like, unless Sophie said that, and then no one else in the league said no one else in the league disagreed, that's the only way that this is correct. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah, okay, the Disney Carrington thing, that's a totally different story. That was totally ridiculous. So honestly, and like,
go ahead, sorry.
And she should be suspended for that. Realistically, like, she definitely should be suspended. She like, you have to take these things into context. And the fact that it was Sophie Cunningham, a completely dirty foul, a correctly called flagrant 2, like, she needs to be suspended for that. Yeah. Also, that point now reminds me as well. A lot of people are like, oh, the owners were berating those fans. Like, yeah, that was inappropriate. The owner should not have done that. The league suspended the owner. What would you like the league to do? Like, have the foresight to know that a minority staked owner is going to talk a lot of shit courtside at a game? Like, the point I was trying to make is that a lot of people are like, oh my God, the WNBA, it's so unserious, blah, 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 blah. Like, what about this is the league being unserious? They didn't do anything. They are facing a media blitz that's a really hard problem that has a lot of different factors, that a lot of different stakeholders have a lot of different opinions on, and they have to navigate it. And really, none of it was like their own doing. So like, fine, if the league comes out and doesn't suspend that owner, or like if Carrington doesn't get suspended here, I would say that's probably a miscalculation from the league. But like, at this point, the league has really done nothing.
So what a little bit of context here for people who don't know. Carrington fouled Sophie Cunningham and got a flagrant 2. And then afterwards on Twitter, she tweeted out white privilege at Indiana Fever. But she did say, like, this was yesterday, which doesn't really make sense to me. She said she wasn't talking about the foul when she tweeted this out, because Emmanuel Acho commented on this saying, like, you can't be doing this. It's like you're weaponizing a very serious topic for something that just like, you're doing this in the wrong way. This is not how things should have gone. And she said that this wasn't what she was referring to, which is just very confusing, because then she doesn't say exactly what she was referring to. So I'm not really sure where. I don't know what that was, but yeah.
It was truly a laughable thing for her to post. Like, what are we fucking talking about here? Like, yeah, it was very, very stupid, if I'm being honest. But like, and then also one thing that also just really pisses me off is like, since people follow the league through Twitter and don't ever watch games,
yes,
they just like only think dirty fouls happen to Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark. Like, this was now like a month ago. Like, Isabel Harrison fucking pile drove Angel Reese onto the ground. They nearly fought. Izzy Harrison got ejected from that game. Like, that was a dirtier foul than anything that's happened to Caitlin this season. It was probably like similar to the level of the Sophie foul, maybe a little bit below. But like, if you only watch games through Twitter because you don't actually give a fuck about the league and you only care about like the social contagion of it all, like, you don't get to have an opinion because you don't know anything.
Yeah, that's a fair take. Some people push back, some people disagree with that, but that's okay because we can all have our own opinion on this stuff. There we go. Any final thoughts on this before we move on to like the actual games themselves? Let's actually like talk about the games.
Yeah. Like, I think the other thing that I think is important is whatever your opinion falls kind of in this general realm of topic, like, it's really, and I feel like people on both sides of the aisle would be mad at me for this. It's really not that important. It's a pretty small subsect of a population doing something that affects very few people. And even in like kind of like the worst case scenarios of like let's say like Aaliyah Thomas, who was the swimmer, like was like, were people like really that materially affected because like someone who had some biological advantages, in my opinion, won some swimming races? Like, it's like the fact that I could post a pretty mundane thing on Twitter and get like legit, I think I got 500 comments on my tweet of people losing their minds. It's like, again, there's a reason that this has gained so much traction. Like, there are nefarious actors in this world who want this to be the topic of conversation. So like, you want to have like, okay, here's my opinion on topic X, but also like, here is the degree of importance I think it is. And like, I think people get really lost in the sauce of like, this is not one of the great problems of our time. And like, it should not be treated as such.
All right, let's move on then and let's talk some awards then, and then we'll get into the games for today. You mentioned last time you were on here, Wilson MVP was a free bingo square. I believe her price has come down a little bit. Olivia Miles is like storming her way up. She's plus 600. Do you still feel that way? Wilson still a free bingo square at minus 600?
Yeah, like injury, other than injury, like if she was out for every game to end the year, she would still definitely have a chance. Miles is not winning this award as much as Olivia Miles is like probably my favorite player in WNBA history at this point.
Yeah,
I got a 6 shirt of her at the Tempo game. She should be the face of the league because, like, don't get me wrong, like, face of the league's a bit of a tough topic because it's not something that can be kind of decided organically, or it is something that happens organically. It's not like it can't be decided, but like Asia, I could see someone being like, this isn't that fun to watch. She's obviously spectacularly good, but like her game isn't necessarily flashy. Miles is like, she's like kind of like a WNBA version of like Kyrie and Derrick Rose. Like, she's so athletic, but also has spectacular dribble moves, really good finisher, great passer, goofy. So like, she's awesome, but she's not going to win MVP. Asia Wilson will be the MVP. Clip this if I end up being wrong and laugh in my face.
All right. Next thing is Defensive Player of the Year. You sort of did a like napkin math breakdown of what you think the shakeout should be. Last time we were on here, Gabby was minus 155. She's minus 135. Right now, you had her still at 65%. Do you still feel that way? Like napkin math. I'm not saying like you ran the number. Like,
yeah. No, like, I think Gabby has a really good case. But since we last talked, we probably have a little bit worse of a case because Washington has just been so good, and Shakira Austin has kind of come from like a total non-contender to like a very legitimate contender. So like, it's now more of a 3-horse race rather than a 2-horse race. So I kind of think prices are pretty fair here. I think Shakira maybe does have a better chance than Asia, but I think it's like relatively fair.
Yeah. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is just like the WNBA championship winner market is because as we're on the show, Lynx were plus 100. They're now minus 105 to win the whole damn thing. Obviously, you talked about Olivia Miles, how great she is. Fee coming back, obviously giving a big boost to an already a great team in the WNBA. What team is like? What team makes the Lynx most vulnerable? If you're the Lynx, which team are you most afraid of facing? And is there a chance that they face that team in the first or second round of the playoffs?
Honestly, like, I think it's much more that there are a lot of really solid teams. Like Vegas and Atlanta are probably the two best teams, but like it wouldn't be like out of the realm of possibility that they could lose to the Aces. Valks would be tough just because I don't think they quite have the high end talent. Dream, Fever, Liberty, Dallas, even maybe, but yeah, like the Wings are still quite clearly a bet here. They're just much, much better than any other team in the league. They're just, frankly, a ridiculous team, considering Miles is like the second or third best player in the league, and Collier is the other second or third best player in the league. So they were, look, again, I said it last time. They were the best team in the league, and they added a top 3 player in the league. The math isn't that hard.
Yeah, fair. OKC PTSD when I see these numbers.
Yeah, look,
but it's a little later in the season, obviously shorter playoffs as well. But
again, I don't think that OKC was a bad bet. Yes, they were 7.5 point favorites game one against Antonio. They just kind of got hurt, and San Antonio was really good. It's like if you bet, it's like I think it's like a bit of a funny thing. Like if you bet OKC plus 110 and make them 60% chance to win, like that's a really big edge. But like if you're betting something that's 60%, like that loses a lot of the time, you know? So it losing was not surprising.
Yeah, no, very, very, very fair. I just, again, like, I don't know why. I think it's just because, like, just thought about it all year. And it's just, again,
totally. I agree. Yeah. I agree with you.
It's also just crazy, again, to see, like, in a league that actually has, like, a decent amount of parity, like the WNBA, it's, like, crazy to see a team be a minus 105. Like, minus money to win a championship in with 10 games left.
And the early rounds are like
more variance,
very short. So yeah.
All right, let's get into the games today. 3 games today. Excuse me. Any props you like for today, or anything you like, sides or total wise?
Yeah, I have one prop.
Talk to me.
It's in the Vegas game.
All right.
Melissa Smith under 11.5 points, minus 114.
All right, Melissa Smith under 11.5, minus 114. Is this a 5% play?
No, I wouldn't say it's like some crazy banger, but I just think it's pretty good. Okay. Pretty tough matchup for her. Definitely a lower totaled game than what has been. Like it's tighter spread, but like definitely is going to be in a matchup that can get her foul trouble. Just like some nice minutes floors. Going to be playing against a good defender. So yeah, I just make this a bit lower. Nothing so crazy.
Under 11.5, minus 114. Mark's not respecting you as much as he used to.
I guess we'll see.
You lost your touch? No, I'm kidding. And the 5% play was a joke. I don't know if I nailed it, but anyways,
I don't get it.
All right, it's all good. Any other thoughts you have before you head out here? Any stuff like you were last year? You got a little bit of what's it called, pushback for mentioning JJ McCarthy MVP. Any other crazy long shot MVP bets you have for us this year?
I have one. Well, I guess my one long shot MVP would be Tyler Shuck, but I haven't actually bet that, so I don't know if I actually think that's good. But I have a long shot Opoi that I haven't bet either. So
give me the official release here on the show so you can get it at a worse number. No? Is it a quarterback?
No, I haven't gone it yet. So I'll give it next week.
Oh, okay. Is it a quarterback?
No, it's not MVP. It's a different award.
It's offensive player of the year. Is it a quarterback?
Oh, I said that already.
Yeah.
No, it's not a quarterback. Not a quarterback.
Okay. All right. I've been betting some quarterbacks offensive player of the year. I don't know if I'm just burning money, but I feel like they're a lot more alive than people are like.
When was the last time one won?
I think
like Peyton Manning
3 or 4 years ago. No, I gotta look. Maybe
Lamar won it.
They've landed second a bunch of times. Like I think 2 years ago Lamar was second. There's something there. There's something there. You need to like thread the needle of your team, you having a great season, but your team not being among like the top 3 or 4 in the conference.
Maybe. No, that's not going to happen. I don't agree with that. I wasn't really listening to you.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Any final thoughts before we head out here?
No.
All right, we'll let you go. Appreciate you, Kirk. Chat soon.
Later.
Great stuff there from Kirk as always. And yeah. Abnormally distant. Like get on the show. AD, get in here. Get in here. How many times do I have to tell you? We want to talk some F1 stuff. Get in here. This guy. We want to have this guy. Like you're becoming my white whale now. I've been wanting to have you on the show for like a year. But you refuse. Everyone bully AD in the chat. Say, come on the show. We want to have you on. We want to talk. We want to talk. I think you do UFC as well. We want to talk everything with you. Anyways, our last guest here to close out the show. Lots to talk about here. At MLS, Leagues Cup, some Champions League qualifiers. Let's bring him on up here. Adrian, a.k.a. the Drunken Goon. Man City sweater. Adrian, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Where do you want to start here? You want to start with MLS? You want to start Leagues Cup? You want to start...
Dealer's choice.
All right, let's start with the Champions League qualifiers because I believe some of them are happening live right now. There's one game happening right now. Or 2 games, 3 games happening right now. Wow. Talk me through this slate here. We're in the second half of this. Any games that are interesting you that aren't live right now?
So the Bodo USG just at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm watching closely. Big fan of both teams. It's hard to pick between the two of them. The winner's gonna go a long way in Champions League, at least through the group stage and into the elimination rounds. In my opinion, I expect the goals and it's 0-0. So already wrong. But I also like Bodo +1. I thought that kind of drifted out, and it's looking okay, but
it might be a little bit of a sweat right now, right? Because Bodo is up on aggregate, correct?
Oh, it's 3-3. They were up 1-0, 2-1, and then they were down 3-2, and then they tied it in extra time.
Okay. So the +1 is looking good then. Any other games you're looking at here, like Lyon? Like, listen, I don't know how good they are anymore, but they're down right now on aggregate. Played a couple hours.
I took 2 plays. I took Lyon and Red Star Belgrade. They both drifted out. I can't recommend them at the current price. I got Lyon -1.25, and they're -1.5 now. And Red Star -1.5, they're -2. So I can't suggest anything there. The one thing I would mention is I'm tempted to fade Olympiacos tomorrow. They drew 0-0 at home to NEC in Greece, and the NEC was the better side. Going to Holland now, a little concerned about NEC not having a lot of European experience, but this is a team that they get really strong support at home. They had a taste of group stage last year, and they might be ready to pull off an upset here.
All right, fading Olympiacos. You said tomorrow game. I see the game happening today at 1:30.
Sorry, I'm all over the place.
You're good.
I like a Costco run, and I'm out of sorts. Yeah, sorry. It starts in shortly. Yeah,
you're good.
Toronto bet -120 is a good price on the home team.
Okay, tie no bet on FanDuel. -102. Is that including extra time or not including extra time?
No, that's 90 minutes. If you want to go to advance, NEC is -111 on that.
Okay. All right. Tie no bet is -102 on Olympiacos here. All right. Enough of the Champions League stuff. Let's flip over and talk. Any interest in Leagues Cup stuff, or you just want to go straight to the MLS?
So Leagues Cup, it's crazy format. There's a bunch of teams at 2 wins, and the US side, the Mexico side, not so much because the US has been dominating. But it's going to be tough because some teams are going to end up with 9 points and not qualify. So I was looking at RSL tonight. They can only get to 7. And there's 3 games early. If those teams win, they might not have a lot of motivation, but I think they're primed for a win. I like the way they've been playing in the Leagues Cup. They have a lot of depth. So I played that around minus a half, minus 150.
Minus a half, minus 150 right now, minus 170 on FanDuel. So maybe shop around there. Any other things you like for this? For the
I would wait till game time on that one because you might be able to get a better price.
Okay.
Still be motivated. So definitely RSL is the side to go there.
All right, leaning Real Salt Lake, and then any other games? I know there's a couple of games tomorrow as well.
So I have a couple of plays in Conference League.
Okay.
Austria Vienna, I got it minus a half, plus 115. You can do a lot better. You can do plus 121, I think, right now. And also, I don't know if this is underway or not. Brandbergen, Norwegians to advance plus 220 was my price before I left for my run.
I'm trying to find it right now. I don't know if I can find it. It might be live right now, but you said Brandbergen and Austria Vienna. Austria Vienna. All right, I'll try and find those while we talk some MLS stuff here. We have a bunch of games happening this weekend. Talk me through what you like.
Yeah, so the one thing about MLS this weekend is you got to be careful of who plays and who doesn't play in midweek because they've been playing. There's 18 teams that have played 2 and playing a third Leagues Cup game. Some of them are motivated, some are not. I ended up with 3 plays so far. These 2 you can still get the same price. Nashville plus 133 against Miami. Miami's really banged up top. We don't know what the status of Messi is, and without Bertram and I think 2 other strikers are out. So it's a bit of a Eastern Conference not decider, but a bit of a statement game, and I like Nashville at home to go with them and then get the win.
All right, Nashville at home plus 125 on FanDuel. Any other games you're looking at?
That one's good to plus 115.
Okay.
I also took Orlando minus a quarter, minus 103 over Cincy. I like the way Orlando has been playing since the arrival of Griezmann. They have a bit of team chemistry going, and they're going hard, and they're trying to make a push up the standings. Cincinnati, on the other hand, it's Evander or bust. But Evander does a lot of things, and they're playing for the Leagues Cup as well. If they win tonight, they will be in the quarterfinals. So I would expect they would rotate a little bit at the weekend if they advance. So that's good price on Orlando.
All right, Orlando, and then final one you have?
The final one was RSL.
Okay.
I got minus 117 on that. It's moved, so I wouldn't suggest it at around minus 140.
All right. What would you say? Minus 112?
I got minus 117.
117. That's just at the minus a half.
Minus a half. Yeah.
Okay, Matt, minus 140 right now, so we'll stay off that. So it's just Orlando and Nashville is what we're looking at here. Orlando plus the half, Nashville minus the half in this one. Any final thoughts before you head out here?
I thought you want to talk about transfers.
Do you have any opinions on transfers? I know there's been a couple, and I know that
yeah, the biggest takeaway is like the EPL is just spending and spending and spending. They actually spent £1 billion more than they've sold. Only 5 teams that are actually have a plus balance on the transfer window, and it's just going to keep going until the deadline. So it's crazy the prices we're seeing, but they're gathering all the talent in the world, and they have the upper hand on all the other leagues. Like I was looking at Spanish league, and 8 teams are in the plus there because they're selling to the English league. So it's the rich getting richer and the poor just being poor.
Yeah, it's like 388 million pounds for Chelsea, 267 for Tottenham, Man City 175. Just like some huge transfers in this window for the Premier League. Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City, Arsenal, top 5 in spending. Or yeah, all top 5 for spending. And then Newcastle's a close 6th, but they also sold a bunch. Anyways, all right.
La Liga is starting this weekend. Really cool thing. They stretch it from Saturday to Wednesday. So no other big league is playing until the following weekend. So kudos to them for giving us some games to watch. I got 2 plays there. I got Sevilla minus a quarter over Rayo, minus 104, and Sunday Celta minus a half plus 110 over Osasuna. Osasuna sold Munoz, their best player, and they're always a relegation candidate. So Celta has made the leap to the top 6 in Spain and should take care of business at home.
All right, Adrian, appreciate you joining the show. George is asking Savinho or Leao to Tottenham. Do they have a shot, or Gakpo? And then Matchek asking if Arsenal still is winning the league, or he's saying Arsenal's winning the league again. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I think what Arsenal has done is unbelievably good. The one thing that's kind of rumored and going about is the Moroccan wonder kid Ayub Bouhadi going to Man City. If that happens, look out, because they already got their other defensive mid, so that team is dangerous with a new motivated coach as well. So Arsenal is looking good, but there's some dark horses behind.
All right, Adrian, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon. Awesome stuff there, as always, from Adrian, firing off like 30 different bets there. If you have any, if you need to recap them, just message me through the Discord, discord.gg/hammer, and I'll let you know exactly what he listed there. All right, I think that's it for today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all of our guests on the show. Shout out to Goon. Shout out to Goon. Shout out to Drew. Shout out to Kirk. Appreciate those guys showing up. And then also shout out to Jaleel, keeping everything smooth behind the board. Shout out to you guys as well. TQ, Matchek, George, Amber, Connor, Big Meat Mike, AD. See you guys in the chat. Appreciate you all the time. Quick reminder, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, do us a favor, rate and review 5 stars. It goes a long way for us. It really does help us out a lot. When you do that, it just promotes our stuff to other people who have similar tastes to you. So if you want us to grow, that's the best way to do so. Appreciate you guys. Also, I haven't asked already, but smash the like button. Comment down below any thoughts, whether it be on the WNBA, whether it be on the NFL. If you have an MVP long shot like Kirk, Tyler Shuck, 100-1. He's telling me I'm burning money on a quarterback to win offensive play. You're betting Tyler Shuck 100-1. In what world would Tyler Shuck ever win MVP? My goodness. That's all good. That's all good. And yeah, that's it. That wraps up today's show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the Tuesday, August 11th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. See you guys right here tomorrow.